Now, Storm Watch 12 weather with meteorologist Josh Culbreath.
Welcome back to News Watch 12 midday, and in Yreka we are actually seeing moderate air quality this midday, and just based off of my eyes I think that might be overselling the amount of smoke that's in the Shasta Valley. It doesn't look like there's all that much, a little hazy, but not the amount of smoke that we're seeing in Medford and Grants Pass right now. And for those locations, we are seeing good air quality. So for this midday, let's talk about the temperatures for a second. We'll go back to air quality, but we're all in the 50s and 60s, already up to 74 degrees though in Mount Shasta City. All right, now the air quality. It is good for Grants Pass, Lakeview, Klamath Falls, and Medford, although that view we had earlier from the People's Bank off of Biddle Road in Medford, I think suggests another story. I think we might be teetering between good and moderate, and in Yreka it is technically moderate, but I wasn't seeing a whole lot of smoke from that vantage point we were just looking at from the Rain Rock Casino. So most of the smoke right now is over on the west side. I think we can agree on that, and the model agrees with it as well. And as we put this into motion later in the day, just not a whole lot doing. Maybe a little bit of light haze coming into the east side, more of it sticking around to the west side valleys, but there just aren't a lot of substantial winds right now and over the next couple of days to push this anywhere. And until we get more containment on some of these fires, I think it's just something we're going to have to deal with. But I'm not expecting any major reductions in air quality. It's just something to be mindful of. Here's your hiking planner for today, and we'll have a little bit of haze to contend with within the west side valleys. I think we're going to get a gap in between different surges of smoke, so I think actually in the late afternoon to early evening we'll have some pretty good air quality. Temperatures though still above average for this time of the year. That continues to be the big story, just how dry and just how seasonally warm we are. So 10 to 15 degrees above average. Will be near 80 degrees over on the east side, near 90 for our west side valleys, and 60s there along the southern Oregon coastline, where the marine layer was providing a lot of thick fog this morning. We've seen some minor improvements in visibility, but fog will be ebbing and flowing all throughout the day. But in terms of temperatures for the coast, it's definitely where you want to be, because it does not feel very fall-like at all inland. Then overnight we will get some tinges of fall, 30s and 40s for the east side. We'll have 40s for our west side valleys and low to mid 50s there along the southern Oregon coastline, where we could still have a little bit of fog, especially down towards Brookings, but I don't think it's going to be widespread marine layer fog like what we were observing at the beginning of this week. We have our Friday night Blitz game of the week tomorrow night, kicking off at 7 p.m. Crater taking on Eagle Point, and it's going to be the same forecast that we had last Friday night. Clear and warm and pretty summer-like, and not what you would expect on an October Friday night in Southern Oregon. And we're going to have more of the same as we head into Saturday and Sunday. Just lots of sunshine, temperatures way above average. And the little bit of good news is that we have some relief, minor relief, as we head into next week. We have a dry cold front moving through, and our temperatures will still be above average, but a little bit closer to average. Here's your 7-day forecast for the coast. We will see some clouds rolling in the Sunday to Monday time frame. That's because of that dry cold front that's going to move through. Can't rule out a sprinkle or two along the coast, but that chance is looking pretty minimal. For Siskiyou County, we're going to be very hot over the next 7 days, very hot relative to average temperatures. But we're going to see that subtle cool down for next week. So that is the only bit of good news. But in terms of rain, no good news. We don't have any of it over the next 7 days. And of course, we desperately need it for the Klamath Basin. We also need the snowpack for the mountains, and we're just not seeing any of that in the forecast over the next 7 days. So bad news on top of bad news on top of bad news. And for the Rogue Valley, again, if you're expecting fall, this is all bad news. We're hot, we're dry, just not a whole lot of fun.
No, not a lot of fun at all, but looking at the drought monitor today, we didn't see any conditions change. Of course, we didn't see any improvements, weren't really expecting to see improvements at this point, but we didn't see anything worsen, which is a win for today.
It is. We're holding on for dear life, but we can't have many more weeks like this, or we're definitely going to start to see that extreme go up to exceptional, not only for the east side, but also for Siskiyou County, maybe kind of eking its way into the Rogue Valley as well. So hopefully the rain can get here and fast.
And at this point, even though we're seeing a cool down in temperatures starting next week, I mean a relative cool down, will that make a difference even if temperatures are 5-10 degrees cooler? Will that impact these drought conditions? Like, will that help delay us going into a worse drought, or do we need rain?
We need rain. That's definitely the best solution. But in terms of temperatures, you know, the hotter it is, the drier the fuels get. So if we can get a little bit cooler, then maybe the fuels won't be as dry.
Okay, it's still pretty dry.
But we need rain.
Yeah, really bad. Okay, thanks, Josh.
Of course.